There are places where the dead don't rest. Places where the walls remember every scream, every betrayal, every soul that never escaped. Tonight, I'm going to tell you two true-feeling horror stories about cursed mansions hidden in the dark. At exactly midnight, both Emily and Samuel stepped inside. By 2 a.m., only one of them was still alive. Welcome back to our channel. I'm your host, and tonight's stories belong to two forgotten mansions where the past refuses to stay buried. This story is based on real events. If you enjoy real paranormal stories like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss our next terrifying video. It was a chilly autumn night, and the moon hid behind a thick blanket of ominous clouds. The wind whispered through the desolate trees, carrying with it an eerie sense of foreboding. The small town of Ravenshade, known for its peaceful demeanor, was about to become the stage for a night of unimaginable horror. As the clock struck midnight, a young woman named Emily found herself walking alone down an old, cobbled street. The flickering streetlights cast long shadows that seemed to dance in the corners of her vision. Emily quickened her pace, her footsteps echoing in the empty silence. Unbeknownst to her, every passing minute brought with it a growing sense of unease. At 12:15 a.m., Emily heard a distant sound, a faint, ghostly echo that sent shivers down her spine. She halted, straining her ears to discern the source. The wind carried it closer, and with each passing second, the haunting melody intensified. The echoes seemed to be coming from an abandoned mansion at the end of the street. Curiosity mingled with fear, Emily couldn't resist the urge to investigate. The rusty gates creaked open as she hesitantly entered the overgrown courtyard. The mansion loomed ahead, its dilapidated facade a testament to the secrets it held within. The wind whispered through the broken windows, creating an eerie symphony that resonated through the desolate halls. Inside, the atmosphere grew colder with every passing minute. At 12:30 a.m., Emily stumbled upon an old, dusty piano in the grand foyer. Its keys seemed to move on their own, playing a haunting melody that echoed through the empty halls. A trail of goosebumps crawled up Emily's arms as she watched in disbelief. The air grew thick with tension as the piano continued its spectral performance. A sudden chill swept through the room and the lights flickered ominously. Emily's heart raced, her breath visible in the icy air. The unsettling feeling of being watched intensified, and she could sense a presence lurking in the shadows. At 12:45 a.m., the echoes of footsteps reverberated through the mansion, but Emily was the only living soul within its decaying walls. Dread consumed her as she explored further, discovering a series of old photographs depicting a family that once called this mansion home. Their eyes seemed to follow her every move, their faces frozen in time but filled with an unspoken agony. The clock ticked louder, amplifying the unsettling atmosphere. As the clock struck 1 a.m., Emily found herself in a dimly lit room adorned with dusty, cracked mirrors. A ghostly figure materialized in the reflection behind her. Panic set in as she turned, only to find emptiness. The ghostly apparition seemed to be playing a sinister game, appearing and disappearing with each passing minute, leaving Emily in a state of perpetual fear. At 1:15 a.m., the echoes of distant whispers surrounded Emily. She felt an otherworldly presence closing in, and the temperature plummeted. Shadows danced on the walls, contorting into grotesque forms. The whispers grew louder, revealing fragmented tales of tragedy and despair. The mansion seemed to absorb the pain of its past, releasing it upon anyone who dared to intrude. With each minute that passed, the spectral occurrences intensified. Emily felt an invisible force pulling her deeper into the heart of the mansion, where the darkness was most profound. At 1:30 a.m., she reached a desolate room with a tattered portrait of a woman who bore a striking resemblance to her. The chilling realization struck her. She was connected to the tortured history of this accursed place. The room echoed with anguished cries as the ghostly figure materialized once more, revealing its sorrowful connection to Emily's past. The minutes crawled by, each one peeling back layers of a tragic tale that bound the living and the dead. The clock struck 2 a.m., and the room fell into an oppressive silence. In that ominous stillness, Emily confronted the tormented spirits of the mansion. The ghostly figures began to fade, their whispers dissipating into the void. The echoes of the haunting melody ceased, and the atmosphere lifted. As the first light of dawn approached, Emily emerged from the mansion, forever changed by the harrowing experience.
Before we jump into the next story, if you're enjoying the video, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Alright, let's move on to the next story.
In the remote village of Blackthorn, nestled deep within a dense, ancient forest, a chilling tale unfolded every night as the clock struck midnight. The locals spoke of a forsaken mansion, hidden in the shadows, where time seemed to stand still and the veil between the living and the dead grew thin. At precisely 12 a.m., a lone wanderer named Samuel arrived in Blackthorn seeking shelter from the biting cold. The villagers, with fear in their eyes, warned him of the forbidden mansion that whispered secrets from the past. Ignoring their ominous advice, Samuel set out in search of the mansion, drawn by an inexplicable force. As the minutes passed, Samuel ventured deeper into the heart of the ancient forest. The moonlight struggled to pierce through the dense canopy, casting eerie patterns on the narrow, winding path. At 12:15 a.m., strange shadows danced around him, and a distant sound of rustling leaves echoed in the silent night. The air grew heavy with anticipation as Samuel approached the looming mansion. Its windows glowed with an otherworldly light, and the moon seemed to linger on the edge of the treetops, as if reluctant to witness the unfolding horror. At 12:30 a.m., the mansion's grand doors creaked open, inviting Samuel into the abyss. Inside, the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Each step he took echoed through the empty halls, creating an unsettling rhythm. At 12:45 a.m., Samuel stumbled upon a room filled with dusty, old books. As he skimmed through the pages, the words seemed to writhe and contort, revealing cryptic messages foretelling his darkest fears. The mansion, a vessel of forgotten sorrows, came alive with ghostly whispers. At 1 a.m., the shadows whispered tales of tragedy and betrayal, and the temperature plummeted. Samuel's breath materialized in the frigid air as he navigated through a labyrinth of haunted memories. By 1:15 a.m., the walls themselves seemed to close in, revealing hidden passages that led Samuel deeper into the mansion's darkest recesses. The echoes of distant cries and anguished pleas filled the air, and he realized he was not alone. The spirits of the mansion, tormented by their untimely demise, sought solace in the presence of the living. As the clock struck 1:30 a.m., Samuel found himself in a room adorned with shattered mirrors. His reflection, distorted and monstrous, stared back at him. The mirrors seemed to absorb the very essence of his soul, reflecting the darkness within. The whispers intensified, accusing him of trespassing on sacred ground. The mansion, a sentient entity, revealed its true nature. At 1:45 a.m., Samuel was ensnared in a web of apparitions, each one a victim of the mansion's insatiable hunger for the living. Shadows reached out like spectral hands, and Samuel felt an unseen force pulling him into the abyss. With the approach of 2 a.m., the mansion's malevolence reached its zenith. Samuel, trapped in a nightmarish realm between the living and the dead, became a permanent resident of the haunted mansion. The clock struck the final hour, and the whispers in the shadows claimed another lost soul.